Hello and welcome to my Module 3 assessment video. We're going to start off with just a basic showing of my database through dbeaver. I do have it populated with some data since we have it just set to create tables and not to create or drop. When we move over into our code, we've got our pom.xml, which we've loaded all of our dependencies, so that way the program can not only talk to MySQL, but then we can also persist data to the database. In our persistence XML, we have it set to create tables, and it is named car dealership for that persistence. The dealer inventory is our POJO. It's pretty standard. We've labeled it as the entity in this case for the databases, and it's going to make sure that it's talking to the table of cars. We have our instance variables. ID is going to be the generated primary key value. And then, again, just standard POJO, constructors, getters, setters, and a toString. Then we have over here into our inventory helper. At the very beginning, we start the factory manager or the entity factory manager, so that way we can create the individual resources that we need to add, edit, search, delete, or show inventory. I'll go a little bit slower there, but a lot of them start basically the same. As we start the entity manager, we begin the transaction. We either do something with the database, in this instance, persist, or merge where we're updating something, commit those changes, and then close the resource. We have, for to be able to search by make and model, that one's specifically tied with an edit. We have a search for an ID number, which is also tied into edit. And then delete inventory, which we get make and models from people, and then take that specific vehicle and then remove it from our database, commit changes, close. And then obviously we just want a populated list of everything that's in that database, and finally a close to make sure that we are closing the resources that we started. The run program for the main function, where my main method is, at the beginning we're starting a scanner and the inventory helper. In our main, it's very simple here. We've put everything into the start menu option, into the method. I did put everything into a try catch block to make sure that I can catch exceptions that happen and terminate the program. I did include a finally block where we close the resources that we've started. One thing that I do want to make a note of for later is that when I implemented that, I originally had them set up in the user choice here to exit the program. But when it would close the resources here and then update the Boolean and actually close, it was throwing an exception because those were closed. So the finally block didn't have anything that it could close because that was already done. So we just commented those out since those are in the finally. Other than that, pretty standard: add, edit, delete, show, exit. Based on the user's options, we run the specific methods. If they choose one of the options that's not available, say they choose 6, they get a message, they try again. And if everything succeeds and they decide to exit, then they get their thank you message from me. Adding items, we can add make and model. Edit, we can search by make and model, or make or model. And then we can get a list. And then as long as the inventory is actually there, as long as this list inventory actually has something, then we will run this option. It'll show the IDs for the vehicle as well as makes and models, and then they can change a make or a model of a vehicle, submit new changes. If nothing was found, it'll let them know nothing was found. We can delete items, so we get the make and a model of an item to delete. We remove it with the inventory helper, or populate the list of everything in. I will give a basic run just to show. We're going to start off. So we see all of our pre-populated data, and I'm going to add a new car where it's a Chevrolet Bolt as an EV car. So then when we show that, we can see that that is still there. We can edit said vehicle. We're going to search by make, and we're going to find We're going to find all the Chevys in our database, and then we're going to figure which ID we want to change. So we want to change 251, the bolt we just put in. We're going to change the model, and that's now going to be a Camaro. We decided to give up EV and go for V8 muscle. And then when we show the list now, 251 has been changed to a Camaro. We can then delete that. Chevrolet, Camaro. And as we can see, that was deleted off of that. We hit our exit. We close off the database and exit the program. Thank you very much for your time.